there was something else that came out of that big whatever. And I think chaos, we're the first group of people that say nature is an alternative medicine. Is it because it works so well? Is that like what it is? Because why be afraid of something that doesn't work?
Because it's not what they knew.
Well, maybe that's exactly what it is. It's making us uncomfortable. We're bored because we're not focusing on the right thing. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark. Today is January 19th. We are still within the winter months. We're still working in our shadow work, our inner selves, our awakening, and we are coming back into our rebirth phase. So we're coming out of the darkness a little bit and we are at the shift. We've crossed over into the veil and now we are at the shift. So our theme for today is transformation. We're going to look at 4 stories where there are different kinds of transformations, and we look at the process of how and what happened afterwards and what it meant. Our stories come from Celtic, Japanese, Norse, and Amazonian folklore. So we'll see you after this, the shift. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Selkie sheds her skin. Along the cold northern shores of Scotland, where the sea breathes fog and the rocks remember older names, the Selkie lived between worlds. By day she was seal, slick and dark-eyed, slipping through the Atlantic with her kin. By night, when the moon softened the waves, she came ashore and shed her skin, revealing the human woman beneath. This skin was not clothing, it was her crossing. Without it, she was bound to land. In the old tellings, a man walking the shore finds a Selkie's skin hidden among the stones. Sometimes he steals it, sometimes he hides it, sometimes he keeps it safe. Without her sealskin, the Selkie cannot return to the sea. She becomes his wife. She bears children, she learns the rhythms of hearth and field, the ache of time measured in seasons instead of tides. But the sea never leaves her. She sings while working, songs that make no sense to human ears. She walks ashore longer than necessary. Her eyes turn seaward when storms rise. In some versions, she is treated kindly. In others, she is watched closely. In all of them, she is incomplete. Years pass, children grow. Then one day, she finds her skin. It may be hidden in a chest, buried beneath the floor, locked away by fear, but when her fingers touch it, memory floods her body. The sea calls her true name. She does not rage, she does not curse, she weeps. In some tellings, she kisses her children goodbye. In others, she leaves without a word, knowing that staying would destroy her. She pulls the sealskin over her shoulders, and with it, her other self returns. She slips back into the water and vanishes beneath the waves. Sometimes the children see a seal watching them from the rocks afterwards. Sometimes they do not. The story is not about abandonment. It is about truth returning. The Selkie does not change into something new. She remembers what she already was. Transformation in this telling is not growth through accumulation. It is growth through release. The skin was never lost. It was taken, hidden, denied. The shift occurs not when the Selkie becomes brave, but when she chooses herself. The sea does not punish her for leaving, it receives her. And the land does not claim her as broken. It simply cannot hold her. Story 2. Kitsune gains more tails. In the old forests and shrine-shadowed roads of Japan, the kitsune walks unnoticed among humans. She is fox and woman both, a trickster and a guardian, clever beyond measure and patient beyond time. Unlike other spirits, the kitsune does not transform once. It transforms again and again, each change marking a deeper crossing. A kitsune is born with one tail. Each tail she gains is not a reward for goodness, nor a punishment for deceit. It is a record of survival, of learning, of restraint, of mistakes endured without losing the self. In the earliest tellings, young kitsune are reckless. They play tricks too loudly. They mimic humans too eagerly. They make pleasure and confusion and chaos. These foxes are caught, exposed, sometimes destroyed. Many never gain a second tail. But the ones who endure learn something sharper than cleverness: timing. Years pass, decades, sometimes centuries. A kitsune watches humans age, love, betray, and prey. She learns their rhythms, their lies, their grief. She learns when to speak and when silence cuts deeper, when to deceive and when truth changes the world more powerfully than illusions. With each 100 years, if she survives without being unmasked or consumed by her own arrogance, a new tail grows. The ninth tail is not the most dangerous. It is the most restrained. By the time a kitsune bears many tails, she is no longer interested in tricks. She becomes a guardian spirit, often tied to Inari shrines, protector of rice fields, families, and thresholds. She may still change form, but now she chooses why. In some stories, a kitsune falls in love with a human and lives among them honestly, hiding nothing except what must remain sacred. In others, she leaves when her truth becomes too large for the world she inhabits. Transformation here is not abandonment, it is alignment. The shift happens quietly. No dramatic shedding, no moment of escape. Just the slow realization that the self you were using no longer fits the wisdom you carry. The kitsune does not ask permission to change. She allows time to make her undeniable. By the time her many tails trail behind her like living flame, she is no longer trying to belong. She knows where she stands. Story 3. Loki changes form. Among the gods of the north, Loki does not belong to one shape. He never did. Born of giants, yet living among the Aesir, Loki exists as a contradiction made flesh. Where others are defined by domains, Loki is defined by motions. He is fire and frost, helper and destroyer, oath-breaker and problem-solver. Most of all, he is change itself. In the old stories, Loki shifts form not to escape danger, but to enter it differently. He becomes a salmon to slip from capture, a fly to sabotage the work of dwarves, an old woman to whisper poison, a mare to lure a stallion away and save the gods, though the cost of that transformation follows him everywhere. Loki's changes are not illusions. They are total. When he becomes something else, the world treats him as such. Pain is real, consequence is permanent. One form even leaves him bearing a child he never intended to carry. This is the difference between Loki and tricksters who merely deceive. Loki commits. Each transformation solves a problem, but creates another. Each success tightens the net around him. The gods laugh when he saves them, then recoil when they remember what he is capable of becoming. Over time, they stop asking what Loki can do and begin fearing what he might do next. The shift comes not with a single act, but with accumulation. Loki changes too many times. He crosses too many lines. Eventually, the forms no longer return him safely to the center. His identity fractures under the weight of constant becoming. When the gods bind him beneath the earth, it is not because he transformed once too often, but because they could no longer trust which version would answer them. In the Norse world, change is powerful, but it is dangerous without anchor. Loki's story warns that transformation without integration leads to exile. To shift endlessly without choosing who you are becoming is to dissolve into chaos. Loki is not punished for changing. He is punished for refusing to be held by any single truth. And yet, the world needs him. Without Loki, the gods stagnate. Without him, no test arises to reveal their weakness. Loki's shifting forces growth, even as it destroys. The lesson is not to avoid change. It is to know when to stop becoming and begin standing. Story 4. Jaguar Shamans Transform. In the deep green heart of the Amazon, where the forest breathes and watches, the jaguar is not an animal. It is a threshold. Among many Amazonian peoples, the jaguar is understood as a being who walks between worlds. It moves silently through the physical forest, yet its true territory lies in the spirit realm. To see a jaguar is not always an encounter of flesh and fur. Sometimes it is a message. Sometimes it is a warning. Sometimes it is a mirror. Shamans do not imitate the jaguar. They become it. Through fasting, isolation, sacred plants, and long nights of ritual, the shaman's human identity loosens. The body remains, but the self travels. In visions, the spine lengthens, the senses sharpen. Hunger becomes power instead of weakness. The shaman crosses the invisible line where human rules no longer apply. This transformation is not symbolic, it is dangerous. To take jaguar form means accepting jaguar law. Violence is not evil in this realm, it is balance. Mercy is not softness, it is timing. The jaguar does not apologize for its strength. It does not explain its hunger. It knows when to act and when to vanish. That is why the transformation is temporary. A shaman who stays too long risks forgetting how to return. The forest is full of stories of those who crossed and did not come back, whose eyes remained too sharp, whose silence became permanent. The shaman must carry a jaguar's power without letting it consume the human heart. True transformation, in this tradition, is integration. The jaguar is taken on not to escape humanity, but to heal it. The shaman returns with knowledge of boundaries, of fear mastered, of instincts reclaimed. They bring back the ability to see illness, lies, and imbalance. They bring back authority that does not need permission. The shift changes how the world responds to them. Afterward, people listen differently. The forest listens differently. Even spirits recognize the scent of someone who has crossed and returned. This is transformation beyond repair. You do not become who you were before. You become someone who has seen from the other side and chosen to walk forward anyway. Hey everybody, welcome back in. Hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. So, like we said, we are in the week of death and rebirth. As you will see in this series, every month is only broken down into 4 weeks. Okay, so the first 3 weeks are the 7-day regular weeks. The fourth week is everything else. It's built to symbolize the symmetry in each month that we're going to have.
So
there's
even if
no
there's like a
over.
week and a half,
Yep, even if it's like 10 days.
so you get that fourth week as 10 days.
That fourth week will just be everything. So sometimes it'll be a really good week, sometimes it's a little bit longer. But we are reaching the end, kind of seeing the second half of our week 3, rebirth. Our theme today was transformation and the shift. Our daily thread is that across cultures, transformation is not cosmetic. It is lived, embodied, and irreversible. A selkie sheds her skin, a fox grows more tails. A god fractures under endless becoming, a shaman crosses into the jaguar and returns changed. Each story teaches the same truth. You are not meant to return to who you were. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and jump right into that first one. So we see different forms of transformation all throughout this. So our selkie, we saw a video on this the other day.
Shocking.
This exact story popped up. She sheds her skin.
In the video we watched yesterday, it was some fisherman stole it, hid it in a chest, made her become his wife, or like
bear
it was
her children.
bear
she
his
did
children.
become his
But
wife.
as soon as she finds that, she is gone. The story that she read is that read it from a couple different perspectives because it's told a couple different ways from a couple different spots of where this story is from.
And this one that we read today is the Scottish one.
Right. So it's just interesting how it said sometimes it was this and sometimes it was this. So it was almost like this was common. Mm-hmm. Like is what it seems like. And so it makes
sense, though, being Celtic. So it is heavily preserved pre-Christian, okay? But it's a lot about the sovereignty. How do you pronounce it? So consent and the danger of denying one's true nature. That is what a lot of that story comes from, the selkie. So it being a young woman who had to go be a wife, bear children, but the chance she could go be herself, choose herself, she was gone. In today's society, you sacrifice everything for your kids. That has not always been the case.
Right.
There are lots of times in history where the kids, they aren't loved. They weren't made out of love. They aren't meaningful other than a paycheck or, essentially that's what it is. Money transaction. I truly think that she wouldn't have said anything to her children. I think that that's a notion that we added in more current readings because no way.
No, because she spent
found that
every
skin.
moment looking to the sea.
And maybe she was just making it day by day.
Yeah.
But then it finally showed itself. She was freed and she took advantage of that.
Yep.
And that comes from about 500 to 1200 CE. So that's current era. But again, it's heavy among the Scottish and Irish. So I wonder, even if looking into it, if there's any sort of... No, that's even before Mary, Queen of Scots and everything too. So this is like way before a lot of that monarchy stuff. So it was still happening. So it goes to show that like the duty and that common theme of sacrificing individuality for duty or because you have to or whatever it may be. Jumping into the second one, that Japanese one. This is the first time I've ever heard this story, but this transformation is about your lessons directly and if you're going to learn from them.
Right.
And if you're going to become wise, and wise in the sense that at the end, she knows where she stands. So she learns herself throughout the entire transformation.
Right. But she doesn't even necessarily get a second tail, it says. Right?
Not all of them do.
Right. Now, does that mean not all of them do because some of them fail to do
Some
their
are caught.
lesson?
So some are caught.
So does it mean just that, or does it mean even if they try to do whatever they're supposed to do?
They're just reckless in general. They're young and reckless. Tricksters, ego,
Right.
kind of that human nature too.
Yeah.
When you're a teenager and you
Well, you
think you're
you
on top
know
of
it
the
all.
world, you're clever, you're smart, and then you make a choice that impacts
Right.
serious consequences,
Right.
revelations, and then there is no going back.
Yep.
And so I think that's what it embodies is you have opportunities, but sometimes you cross a line
Yeah.
and there is no coming back. But they learn something sharper than just cleverness, but timing.
Yeah.
So that power of observing patterns in people and in nature and in day-to-day things, and that's how you utilize Earth. That's how you
Mm-hmm.
utilize this life, because then you can start to jump ahead of it.
Right, but like, so it's a fox, right? So watching like that, isn't it then making it cunning because of how you were just explaining it? Like when you first were going into it, I thought you were going to use that word, and you just kind of went around it and said something totally different. So you could almost, when you first started explaining it, throw that word in and then finish saying exactly what you were saying. Because I don't know, I think maybe that's why foxes are cunning.
Because they're
Or they
observers.
say, yeah, because they're observant. Truly.
And there are some that get caught.
Yeah, because they're that.
They're reckless, that little bit of you reach too far.
Yep.
And so that one is from very similar time frame as the Selkie one.
Is there a pattern when we do these stories of when it was polled? Like the years? Does it keep it relative?
There are some tales that are very closely related that you'll find they do have very similar time frames. The flood stories. So when we
Right.
get into the flood stories and renewal of the earth and everything,
So like
you'll
around
notice that
April.
those oral traditions,
Yeah.
those stories were around the same time. And I think we have already started to see some of that
Right.
happening.
Well, I'm just saying, like when we're telling them on here, like the four stories of the day.
There
Are
are some that are way more
those
ancient, yeah, and
okay?
some
So
that are
it's
more
not
recent.
specific
It's
time
not.
wise when you're saying them.
Not
It's
always.
just more of
But sometimes we do get to see that they are so identical. The
yeah.
time they were being told from, okay, without the ability to speak to each other
Right.
or the need or want to.
And then
So
the
these are
gap of is even not just time but
space itself,
geographically,
yeah.
you know, separation. And the story is so close.
And the stories are being told.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
we do see that. And that's where it gets very fun because it goes to show that we truly have a hard time identifying the origin. Like the more and more history that we pull up, the more and more we dive into our past and dive into the earth. I think that's why it's so scary.
Right.
And like looking into the moon stuff, I saw that they took out a lot of stuff because it took away from wonder. It was
Yeah.
meant to be wonder. What's out there, how exciting, and it was eerie. It
Eerie.
was unsettling.
Yeah.
And then it caused fear rather than wonder. I think that we heavily see that with Loki.
Yeah.
I imagine that there was a lot of fear because he did commit to his transformations.
Yeah.
He was a trickster god, but he went beyond what needed to be done, necessarily.
Yeah.
And he bore those consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But like it said, he was necessary.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, the death of Baldur, majority of his kids, minus Odin's horse. The rest, though, are influential in Ragnarok. Like, Loki is so necessary because he causes the death. He is a huge influencer that allows rebirth to be possible. So I love that we're seeing his transformation and how those
Which one
consequences
was
are
the
heavy.
which one was the child that he didn't like, that it was talking about, that he didn't know that he was meant to bear
I
or was supposed to?
I believe it
Like,
was
that
the
was like,
horse, because I believe he was the mare. He transformed himself into a mare and bore that one, right? So he transformed into a mare to escape a giant, got pregnant, and gave birth to Odin's 8-legged horse, making him both father and mother. That's something that's really interesting about Loki, and I've told you that before, is that Loki, he really has no foot anywhere. He
yeah.
has no truth in any gender. He has no truth in any form.
Yeah, he is the true first whatever.
Like, trickster, but chaos itself.
Because he is that chaos. That is, it has to be everything.
There was something else that came out of that big whatever. And I think chaos, that's why you see Loki and Odin as like brothers. So you see that wisdom, that foresight. But that chaos is there, and it is necessary.
I don't think you could have creation without chaos.
Chaos is almost free will, is it not?
If you're saying they're brothers, they would be that yin and yang. It would make sense.
I like that this one causes you to pause, though.
Yeah.
This story does say that there is a danger not having anywhere to stand.
Yeah.
Not having that sanctuary that you create for yourself. So it says, yeah, transformations are necessary, but the choices you make during your transformation are still influencing who you become.
Yeah.
So don't forget that, yeah, we're healing. So like we've said in so many episodes, we're healing. May not be pretty, but we need to be cautious of what we say and do. And I'm saying that to myself in particular. Like, I need to not use that as an excuse. Oh, well, I was healing. That doesn't validate the things you say and do during your healing.
I learned this at one of the retreats I had went to a couple of years ago, that, or maybe it was in a men's circle that I was in during one of the retreats. But it's good to, especially when you're in your healing journey, to not use you when talking in a group setting. If we're talking about healing, yeah, but if you do this, you whatever, how do you know, right? Put it in the perspective of I. That's why I try to do, I have found what works for me or what I enjoy, instead of using the you type of.
And that's that flip
Yep.
of you're not using your healing as an excuse
Yes.
for what you
And
say
that's
and
why I
do,
brought it
because
up.
rather than you flip it and say, I am healing. So I am sharing my perspective.
Yes.
And this is how I feel, and I do need to work on that. I feel like I've gotten
Oh, you say you do.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten way better over the years. But I feel like we all have certain people that trigger us a little bit quicker.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know, I get very mixed feelings about it. You can love people, but you just kind of do have to give space. They are okay where they're at. And I've struggled with that. Because I expect something. I expect you to be growing too. I expect you to want to change and heal and to be this.
And that's the thing.
But not everyone does want to.
Yeah, but you can't expect anybody else to do anything, because it is out of your control. And the sooner you realize and let that part go, the easier and the more free you're going to be. And possibly by letting go of that control, who knows? Maybe that restraint is keeping them energetically from doing it for whatever reason. But as soon as you let that go, now that, well, maybe I want to then, you know?
Maybe that is, yeah.
I mean, who knows?
It's just that whole idea of, in families specifically,
Oh, yeah.
you know, friend groups, there is always something that bothers you about someone. There always is. There is a personality trait that, and it's usually one of their like big ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that makes them unique.
Yep.
They are not going to change it.
No.
It doesn't matter what you say to them. It doesn't matter if it's causing them a problem. If they really don't want to change it, they're not going to. And for myself, I had a hard time accepting that.
Yeah.
That this is who you are. This is something you don't want to change. Mm-hmm. It's not my job to tell everyone what I think they need to change. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not always right.
Right.
Especially when you don't see people all the time. They have certain characteristics. And you can either live with them or you can give yourself space from them. You know, but I had a hard time accepting that they're not going to change. So
Right.
Is it something I'm going to tolerate being around all the time? Is it something I can tolerate? Is it something that really matters in the long run? Like, is it just
part.
annoying or is it damaging me?
Right.
Is it annoying or is it damaging?
That's where you have to reflect on yourself. That's where you decide. Nobody else. And nobody else can influence it. You could ask every single person, but nobody else's opinion on that matters at all but your own. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to other people, that just means they're influencing your decision. And a decision like that can only be upon yourself. But I believe that's a decision that comes lightly. I think that is something you sit with yourself in silence, like we've talked before. Sit in silence and wait for that to come. A decision like that.
The Jaguar one, they actually embody the Jaguar, the shamans do. Mm-hmm. So we saw that in the El Dorado movie, the speaker of the gods. And so that one was all about the relationship with land, animal, and spirit. Mm-hmm. But remember who you are. And I like how it did say there was a lot to the ritual. Sacred plants were involved.
Yeah, I caught that. They were going on some deep spiritual journeys. Mm-hmm. Where are these from again?
That one was from Brazil.
Yeah, they're doing ayahuasca and they're doing mushrooms down there. It's a natural thing. Like, that's what shamans did until the Spaniards came over and brought Catholicism. That was their link to God. But it wasn't I'm the shaman and you listen to everything I say. No, it was a communal thing. Like communities, like people would go for healing. They would use that stuff to heal their community.
Well, people still are doing that today.
Yeah, and it was almost it was almost a lost art. And thank goodness that these people took their culture and they hid it in caves.
I watched a video. I watched a video today. I don't know if you sent it to me or if it just came across my timeline, but it said we're the first group of people that say nature is an alternative medicine.
Not natural.
Yeah, and that it's not the medicine. It's the alternative. I thought that was interesting. Because then we see other stuff where like they are heavily in to a certain sector of a church or religion, right? So Catholicism was one the other day, and they were we don't watch the signs. The monks, they denied the signs because they lived in a climate where they were hallucinating and they knew, whatever, but they didn't listen to the signs. And these groups of people, that's all they did.
Right.
So of course they wanted to come over and not have them doing that anymore.
Yeah. Well, because you can't have control if they can get it themselves. If you can go get what you need spiritually, that's a big industry.
Can I hit this real quick?
Every single religion is an industry for money. It's money and control. That's it. So when the Spaniards came over and they're like, dude, they're doing all this cool stuff, and I'm sorry, Catholicism, they already knew about it, about mushrooms. There's talks that Jesus was giving mushrooms out at the Last Supper, and they were going on journeys. In some depictions of the Last Supper, there's sliced bread on the table at the Last Supper. But around those times, they broke bread and ate it with each other. That's why they say, let's break bread when you have dinner.
About that.
Yeah, break bread is to eat with one another.
What are the dangers of taking those, like mushrooms, ayahuasca? What are the dangers of doing that and connecting with the land and stuff then?
So
what is the fear?
Well, the dangers are if you take other man-made medicines, it will and can hurt you. There are shows or stories of it happening.
No, but I mean when they came over. Like what? Why do we associate that kind of behavior
because
with,
they didn't understand it.
And
that's what they thought. They thought it was
demons
or
whatever.
And they didn't understand it. And it's funny that
Is it because it worked so well? Is that like what it is? Because why be afraid of something that doesn't work?
Because it's not what they knew.
Okay.
Let's finish it up.
Okay. So then, the end of today, the shift, we look at what has changed beyond repair within ourselves. So reflect on your own life. What has changed beyond repair? Because with all of these stories, the lesson is that you're no longer who you were. Transformation comes at the cost of who you used to be. Mm-hmm. So what has changed beyond repair for you? I truly believe that once you start holding a standard to the way that you're treated, that's hard to come back from. To be in an environment where you aren't allowed that peace. I've found that that's really hard.
Yeah, because you become new.
And you become too comfortable, being comfortable.
Right. When you decide that something's not okay and you're not going to stand for it, you can't go back because it's just like the stories of the transformation. It's like, no, this is the new. This is it. Mm-hmm. And it's almost silly when someone gets offended when you decide to stop. And then I understand the confusion when you make that change. Because they're like, wait a second. You just were letting me do this.
Yeah. You were never
this
upset by this before.
You were doing this. Why is it not okay now? And then that's when a conversation happens. And you're like, okay, well, I understand that that's what I used to do, but it's not me. It's not who I choose to be now. Mm-hmm. Same body, yep, but guess what? New me. When you truly shed, it could be any moment in time. And it could be
Is that
multiple
the
moments.
step? That is like a new year for you, a new becoming, a new.
That
And
is
so
any transformation. I almost guarantee we'll talk about that. It'll come up.
you read how April 1st was the new year. And that was the second month, so the very middle of spring. The new year begins in life, new
Right. The calendar changed and it's been proven.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I know there is a day where they said that's like the day of rest. All these calendars, the turtle is the calendar, the turtle shell. The Mayan calendar, they all do the same thing, the 13 months, 28-day thing. On the show we were watching earlier with the moon, and how they're like, it's a perfect cycle rotation, and that's
Right.
the only moon that is perfect rotation.
There's so much weird stuff with that.
Right? So, but it's a perfect rotation on 28 days to make that lunar exact thing.
Today, for your your daily task is to write one sentence beginning with I am becoming. So write one beginning with I am becoming and let it stand without explanation. So just write I am becoming and then finish it and then just leave it. Don't overanalyze it, don't explain it. Just let it be. Don't overthink it either. You just allow your body, your mind to say what it wants to say without defending itself. So the application is that transformation does not ask permission. It asks for consent. So that is just like our destiny. Destiny and transformation ask for your consent. I think that's beautiful. And so keeping all of these in mind, if you are at the shift in your life where you're uncomfortable and you're hearing that voice in your head saying that it's going to be worth it, you just have to hold on. And what if I'm wrong? What if I can't make it? Well, what if you do? Like, you're so close. We're coming out into the rebirth.
I had a whole lot of moments that it was like I wasn't gonna try anymore. Like, that's how I felt. Like, are you kidding me? Not again. And it was like this record that was scratched and just kept repeating, itself. That same thing over and over. And I say this because I want people to understand that if you choose that you don't want that record on the record player anymore, you can throw that record away and you can put a new one on.
Before we go, though,
Yeah.
there was one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. The kitsune in Japan, when it got 9 tails, was when it's like it really knew itself.
Is it like the 9 lives then?
I wonder, the 9-year cycle, the 9 lives, the fact that there are people that truly believe that there's only the numbers 1 through 9 or whatever that
I think I've heard something
idea is. And so I just think it's interesting that that was a thing as well. And I mentioned that to you the other day, where what if we believe in reincarnation, okay, right? Let's say we do. What if you have to be reincarnated and go through that samsara in the Buddhist tradition and your 9th life is your final? What if we all do reincarnate, but it isn't this simple idea of some of us just get it right away and others don't? Everyone goes through 9 cycles.
Right. But I don't think 9 cycles is just 9 lives.
Whatever it may be.
You learned
9 tails.
That 9th lesson, because I truly believe if you fail to meet what you are meant to do, now that could be inadvertently or purposefully, but if you fail to do that, I think when you come back the next time, it's going to be more challenging to complete that task the next time. And you can't just keep avoiding it and
Do you think
trying
that
again.
everyone has the same like kind of lessons or whatever?
No.
Or does everyone have where they learn courage or healing their heart chakra? Like what is it, do you think? What are the 9?
Personally for myself, what I think I'm going through all of this is what I want to experience. So I was with someone at work the other day, and I hadn't seen her in a while. And I was talking about our relationship. And I was saying how I truly believe that I am you, as that I want to know what it feels like to be loved by me, and vice versa, and what that love creates out of it. This podcast, the books that we're creating, things like that, right? So that's right down the lane of what I believe. To me, that's what this means.
So then are you in the cycle of creativity? Like,
Oh,
is that...
maybe that's what I'm learning this go around.
Yeah, and maybe we both are.
I think some of it does have to do with healing your ancestral issues as well.
That's a part of reincarnation that gets messy for me.
Okay.
Are you tied to all your ancestors through any reincarnation? So if in one reincarnation I'm tied to Alexander the Great, in the next I'm tied to the Buddha. Time's only a construct we've made, so I can go in any direction I want to. What are ancestors then? Or are your ancestors you and your soul fragments?
It is energetically what is tied to you. What you are energetically seeing right now in this lifetime. Everything that you're connected to, which is your parents and up. And that is a huge doof, right? So now on this plane, you are sent here to either fix something, learn something, or heal something. I believe I'm here to do all of it.
Do you think you're going to get your tail?
I'm tired of coming back, for sure. Like, that's been on more than one occasion. Like, I've seen, like, every single life cycle, and I'm like, I've seen it. I've seen all the same things. It's all on repeat.
That's something that we both kind of agree
and
on.
I'm just kind of like, I'm bored. It's the silliest thing, but I always hear somebody say, please come back for me. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it for you. Wait, what? So, like, I came back because somebody asked me to. And then, I've told you about the journey where I saw the green dot and I was like, I want you. Mm-hmm. But now I'm wondering maybe if that had more significance in a different way too.
That is all that I had for today. Just thinking about what has changed beyond repair. Mm-hmm. And then writing one sentence, starting with I am becoming. Finishing it, letting it sit. Just let it be after you write it. Get into the rebirth, but realizing that there is no going back. And that's what these next few steps are. Mm-hmm. Analyzing who am I moving forward.
Right.
Because I cannot be who I once was.
Yeah.
It's unbearable. It's boring.
Right.
So it's exciting that we're in that phase. Because now it's, what do we do next? And I think a lot of it is, okay, we've transformed. We're making these shifts. Maybe this is all of this stuff coming together, going, our mind's not focused. We're focused on the things that we're unhappy with. Mm-hmm. And maybe we need to focus on things that make us happy, like our books.
Yeah.
Just thinking how much moving forward we could do if just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
I mean, like I told you, I was told in a journey to write a book. Didn't say how many. I said, write them. So I guess I'm gonna just have to write them until they say stop. So
Well, maybe that's exactly what it is. It's making us uncomfortable. We're bored because we're not focusing on the right thing.
right. Well, I mean, look at all the kids' books we have started, and look at all the other books we have started, and I mean, now that we are
And maybe
moving
that's
along
something
too.
that when I'm doing this during the day, maybe you just start like going on the kids' books.
Yep.
And you just start explaining, like doing the writing and stuff, the cartoon that's going to be on each page.
Yeah.
And then you come home and we break down exactly how we want the characters to look, though.
Yeah.
Because now we're looking at the 90s cartoons, right? That Treasure Planet, the Sinbad,
Yeah.
El Dorado style.
I kind of want that.
That, like, wonder, you know?
Mhm.
So reflect on that stuff, and I think it's time that we all think back to our commitments that we've made. What are we going to do? Because we're transformed, and do those commitments stay the same?
Mhm.
Are they transforming? Are we have to step forward? And you know, there is no going back, so everyone that was there that's not moving forward with us is gone too.
Mhm.
We will see you tomorrow again. This is Jane and Mark on Folklore and Flourish.
Love you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.